our next set of presentations. Any issues? Anyone ready to go? How about next week? You ready to go? Next week? Anyone ready to go today? All right. All right, be ready next week for next sets of presentation. Today, we will talk about sales promotions and how does that look into our strategies and techniques for marketing communications. Traditionally speaking, most people may think that advertisements usually drives most sales, right? But advertising is just one form. So there's many forms that we kind of talked about throughout the semester about different strategies and techniques that we use for different reasons. Sales promotions primarily are used in short term to boost sales, to increase sales. That could be one facet of the reason why you have any kind of promotion. The other may be that, hey, you want to increase the interest in a service or a product, that you would like to give some sort of incentive, some sort of bonus or reward, so that an individual can try out, maybe that they maybe never tried out. Maybe it's a new product, relatively. Maybe it's an old product that you want to revive, to breathe some life into. So it's a way to get people to try something. And so we know that with trials or triability, people may form some opinions, and if they like it, they may be repeat purchasers in the future. There are some pros and cons to sales promotions. Well, first, let's see what kind of sales promotions are there. What do you think? What are some sort of types of sales promotions that you observe your consumer like? What are some sales promotions you see out in the world? Coupons? Anyone here use coupons? Who here uses coupons on a record? Anyone else? Hey, I use coupons all the time. I'll tell you what I do now. Game changer. Big time game. I just use AI to find a coupon for a store. They're going to sum it up quick to find the exact things, not like Google where you got to search 50 promo codes to see which ones work, yada, yada, yada. Like AI is game changer. Because we say convenience is a factor. You might randomly go to eat somewhere and then you're like, let's see if I can find it. So, coupon, save some money, right? Smart. We all want to save money. No matter what. So, AI, use it. Right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. On any website, there's a space for promo codes or coupon codes. Take advantage of it. See if that change your consumer behavior. All right, so coupons, what else? What else could be considered some promotional things? Some of you even talked about this in the last presentations, yes.
Buy one, get one free.
Yeah, you're like, okay, buy one, get one free. Or you may even consider that maybe a rebate. Right, like, oh, okay, if I spend money, I get something, right? It's not just, they're gonna take money off, right? Which would describe school. You're like, oh, I actually get something, right? But I gotta give. They're gonna give me something back, but you buy one, get one free. Right, but you kind of consider it rebates. So if any of you have credit cards, you know that if you spend X amount of dollars at certain places at the end of the month, you may have a few dollars to use the rebate. Oh, do you want cash out? Take the check, direct deposit it, or credit it back to your credit card. Yes.
Would you count like a free trial as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you say, hey, So yeah, free samples, right? Free samples are huge because you're like, we all of something free. Now, kind of later we'll start to get into more of the kind of psychology of it. You're like, why do we choose coupons over lower price? What's happening there? Why do we choose maybe lower price over coupons? Why are we choosing these things, right? And we kind of take a very like, maybe it's the time of the season, maybe it's the convenience factor, impulsivity, maybe, kind of two dimensions we'll talk about is hedonic, seeking, which is pleasure, right, hedonism. Like, pleasure means experience, doesn't mean utilitarian, so that utilitarian would be a kind of another dimension. Like, I should buy this now because it's on sale, or because utilitarian benefits, maybe for the future. I should buy now because it's pleasure. Pleasure going some experience with it. I think it's like going to Grand Rapids. You're there for the experience. Okay, so we have all sorts of things, right? We could think of coupons, we could think of rebates, we could think of sweepstakes, right? We could think of all sorts of things. Maybe you go to check out at a department store and they're like, hey, you know what? If you get a card, a store card, department store credit card, you will get 20% off this purchase right now. And you're like, wow, should I do it? Right? But then they're like, hey, maybe you have to pay a monthly fee or something. Right? So they're getting something back too. Right? So the end objective as a marketer is for us to increase sales, increase interest, which obviously still increases sales, and to elicit some sort of benefit to customers, right? So like purely to try to elicit some sort of stimulus or benefit, some reward to the consumer. All right, so in this unit, we're going to talk about various forms. Consumer promotions help to pull customers into stores and push products onto the store shelves. How do different types of customers respond to consumer promotions? Types of trade promotions, which we'll kind of get more into later in this chapter. How they help to push products into retailer shelves and eventually to end users. And issues concern manufacturers considering trade promotions programs. Now remember, trade promotions is effectively in the words trade, right? It's kind of maybe two businesses working together. Hey, I give you this and you do that. Put this in your front display and you will get off X amount of units that were given to you of that product. Right? Put Lululemon in the display, the front display of the store, we're going to give you a discount on the Lululemon that you have in your store. Right? So like, oh, okay, that might work. One comes help kind of build brand Lululemon. Other part, well, you like it helps out the retailer as well too. And what differences complicate international sales trade programs? All right, so we first talked about consumer promotions, right? Which is us for the most part. We're buying things, right, as consumers, and we are being promoted to by businesses, right? Businesses also are classified in this, but more trade promotions, I would say, kind of connected to that. Used to achieve objective. Use varies within product life cycle and can differentiate a brand. Pros and cons. Once again, like, well, you know what? Maybe these promotions are backfire if we do them too often. If we do them too often, maybe consumers get desensitized and now they want something new. They're no longer interested. Right? Because maybe a competitor is offering something different and something more stimulating to that effect. Right? Maybe we can no longer go back to offering just a low price because we coupon or promote or sweepstakes too much. And now there's an expectancy. So when we go back to a regular price, and no one buys it. And they're like, hey, just wait 2 weeks, then let's put it on coupon for 2 weeks. Right, maybe they've already, kind of marked in their mind our system, our strategy for promotion. Now they're kind of back on it. I want to go back to, selling the regular price of copy, right? Time matters. When are we doing it, right? Because we say, hey, you know what? If we want to create a sense of urgency, but urgency maybe depends on a lot of different factors, right? You can think of Black Friday's coupons. There is a sense of urgency because this has been agreed upon day that everybody goes out and gets the greatest deals of all time, right? Perceived, for the most part. Probably a lot of products that these manufacturers just want to get rid of too. All right, Mentel is coming up in IMC program. Mentel's had a targeted promotion to college students. Use students as brand ambassadors. They distributed gum across the University of Wisconsin-Madison's campus. Utilize a microsite. Right? And say a microsite is creating a different website other than your general website, like a main parent website, to focus on a particular product at a particular either target audience or a location, right? To track the progress. All right, so you say very effective. All right, demonstrates the importance of integrating all communication efforts. Mentos was able to tie in a product, target market, and an ideal set of circumstances with the consumer promotions program. Why would Mentos work very well on the college campus with this sort of package? Why Mentos would work well on the college campus? Anyone here use Mentos? No? Why? What will be this particular item or brand we want to see effective on the college?
I feel like, one, it's like, Mentos is like relatively cheap, college students. But it also it's like, I feel like a college campus is perfect for tracking, like how they use their social media to track products, like everyone's on social media on the college campus, so it's a lot easier and it's like, you've got like a control group, everyone's there.
Yeah, first of all, you think of, hey, everybody has a .edu, right? So it's easily to track. You might get some information, what's your name, year, degree, maybe .edu. University is easy to track. 2 is a cheap product, which means everybody is able to afford it. As a college student trying to save money. 3, we all talk and engage with one another all the time. So I would say fresh breath. It's probably a really big social incentive, right, for people to have fresh breath. So it tends to be a very common thing we all have, right? So it works well, which means that a lot of products couldn't work well with something like this, small, cheap, easy to track environment, and a very kind of a social. You think gum is really a social product, right? It's to keep fresh breath, which is different than many other products, right? Because it has to do with communicating. All right, so we talked about a few of these. We say, hey, there's coupons, right? There are premiums, right? Promotions to like, hey, you know, like, what if we give something, the title, type of a premium brand, a special type of the same kind of product. There's contests and sweepstakes, right? We say human beings love gamification, right? Anything where we can be involved and gamify. We have a kind of a natural tendency to want to engage in. We say refunds and rebates, turning in something. Used to be aluminum cans, you get 5 cents back. Used to be glass bottles, you get 10 cents back, right? Drink, you get 10 cents back. In your mind, you feel like, well, you're actually paying exactly what you paid for it if you return Coupons offer a price reduction to the consumer, maybe a percentage off the retail price or absolute amount. Companies issued $500 billion last year in coupons, and 2.8 were redeemed. Why such a low redemption? 500 billion were put out there in coupons, but only 2.8 billion were redeemed. Why such a low redemption for coupons? Here it is, and there's a redemption rate of, oh, that's some numbers. Why don't you redeem coupons? Yes.
People don't know they exist, or they don't care about the product enough to be willing to.
Yeah, you're like, hey, number one, who's looking at all these coupons? Right? There may used to be apps like coupons, you know, coupons.com or something, or coupon app. But people, you know, we're not looking at that. We're going to have an interest in that. So you're like, hey, no, coupons we just don't see. Right? It's difficult to try to see for millions of products. Coupons for everything. Okay.
You know, some coupons, some people can do, they just don't want to give them a little password, and, where there's couponing so many of them, which you can't hand them. Instead, if someone wanted to do, coupons, they would use, for like Kroger, where you just download the coupon to your account. Then when you check out, you just put in your number, and then all the coupons you found, it'll be applied to the, to your bill.
Alright, you're like, hey, convenience is a factor. There used to be, you know, some people find it a nuisance or convenience. They have to click individual things, it takes time, effort. And a lot of people don't want to do that. So now, retailers such as grocery store Kroger's have implemented, you have your account, phone number, connect your account, all the coupons on there, kind of the simplification, right? What other reasons? Man, we just forget, just as simple, right? Like coupons are for a short window. Our human mind are not tracking short window benefits like that. Right? We just got more stuff to be worried about on a day-to-day basis. So coupons are very kind of difficult to put the right coupons in front of the right customers at the right time and get them to redeem. Hey, kind of good for the marketers, because you're like, hey, you know what? Guess we didn't lose that much money. Right? Put the stuff in the coupon. People didn't really cash in that, right? But the ones who did, you know, made some extra profit. Well, quite a few savings of about $5 billion, right? Coupons used by 92% of households, which is relatively good, which means that we have used them at some point within the year. Some people just use them a lot more than other tracking. Coupon distributions, manufacturers issue about 80% of coupons, right? So we say, for the most part, whoever created the product is usually distributing most of the savings, more than the retailer itself. All right, and then most coupons are sent through print media with freestanding inserts, or what we call FSIs, accounting for the majority of all coupons, right? The advantage is that consumers must make a conscious effort to look the coupon, right? So there still are households where people are clicking, right? Because they find it to be, I don't know, maybe therapeutic in some sense, or much more involved, maybe a ritual of the family that they would like the next generation to carry on. But it still seems to be something that a lot of households are doing. Right, so this helps create brand awareness and encourages a purchase on the next trip to the store. So we said the digital online couponing obviously is growing. They're using more coupons with their phones than we were before. All right, so here's a freestanding insert on FSI from Campbell's soup, right? Interesting. What is stimulating about this? What would get the attention of someone to try to cook this? I want to get them to cook this. What is the marketers trying to do here? Outside of just getting. Yes.
It looks like they're trying to go like the health route, sort of, with like the big 100% and then following it up with like meat and vegetables and stuff like that.
Okay.
To make people notice.
Yeah, absolutely. Say lean meat is larger than a lot of the rest of Texas. Vegetables is larger, so they're like, hey, we want our customers to focus on, hey, this is lean meat and vegetables. This is super healthy, filling, chunky. This will satisfy your nutritional needs, right? Oh, but what we need to do is, you can go to chunky.com, right? And then you can say $5 per thing. Here it says, this is not a coupon, right? So this is not a coupon. Cool trick. First thing you think of, like, oh, I'm gonna get scissors to cook that. It's not a coupon. Coupon is, right? You gotta go type, and who knows